6 o'clock, let's meet in order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States stands one nation, indivisible, with roll call.
Councilmember Updike. Here. Blackwell. Here. Bauer.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Mayor Mulauer.
Here. With that, we will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Bill. Motion by Councilmember Udvig, do we have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Councilmember Wilson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And before we do tonight's consent agenda, we're going to pull item G here. That'll probably continue. Barring item G, we have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda A through F. Motion by Councilmember Bauer, we have a second. Second by Councilmember Frecklow. So that all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And with that, we'll open up meeting open to the public. Do we have anybody to speak? Ray and Bill. So Ray, would you like to step up and speak first?
Yeah, Bill, come with me.
That works.
Thank you for giving us some time tonight to talk. I'm Ray Laudenbach. I'm the commander of the St. Francis American Legion. With me is another board member, Bill.
I'm Bill Sherman. I'm the adjutant for the post, Vietnam veteran, and we appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talk to you tonight.
I just want to let you know, the Legion is not just a veterans club. We do a lot for the community. We donate a lot of money to the community. Over the course of the last 5 years, we've donated almost $500,000 out to this community. And that includes during the COVID years when we were shut down for part of the year. Had we not been shut down, I am sure that we would have reached or surpassed that 500,000 mark.
Last year, just this past year, we gave back to the community $88,000. $29,000 for veterans and activities. Youth activities for this community was over $20,000. Families and food shelters, $12,387. $10,000 in scholarships, $6,700 for seniors, $5,000 for other 501c organizations, and another $4,000 in other donations to the community. Like Ray said, if it hadn't been for COVID, we would probably be over $500,000 in the last 5 years to this community. And we have a membership of 150 veterans. And in this community here, we also have a tremendous number of people in this community of St. Francis that come to our post on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and throughout the week, and come for lunches during the week. So we're in a situation where we have to expand, and the expansion is becoming cost prohibitive to us.
Because of the expansion, we expand the number of occupancy, and then we're required to put in sprinklers, fire sprinklers. The fire sprinklers alone will cost $250,000. And that's more than half of what the expansion itself. So obviously, this is cost prohibitive for us, and it's gonna hurt our, but if we can expand more, we can get more revenue, which means we give out to the community more. We would like to ask for either a waiver on the sprinklers, but we understand, I, as a retired police officer, I know that safety is a major concern for cities. So if you can't give us a waiver for the sprinklers, try to help us some other way to offset that 250,000.
If there's any financial input that you could make to help us, it would be appreciated.
Even just a break on our property taxes for 10 years or 5 years break on the property taxes, and then a lot sale liquor license, so we can generate more revenue that. Thank you.
And we're open for any questions that you may have.
I personally don't have any questions. I think it's obviously something we have to discuss in the work session later on. Obviously, talk with our fire experts. Kevin, do you have any?
I would probably save it for a session also, but I'm curious. I get anything more of a state situation rather than a city or a county situation, as far as the chief will probably back it up, but again, we can expand on this. I know you guys have given a lot to the community over the years, well, hardware, and there's other Kings County market. It's a small community, you guys give and give and give, and there's parties who are not in the same situation. The community is better for you guys have been so generous, and we appreciate it. I'm talking about in the future session as well.
And the one thing I'd like to bring up is Oak Grove, they've just put in a new bills over there. It was put in with no sprinklers. So, you know, if that could be done, we're hoping that we could receive some sort of a waiver. Because we're only talking about a 60-foot length by 20 foot, and then a 10-foot deck off from that with our existing building.
It would not be even, it'd be maybe a half of what we currently have.
Can you expand on what building you're talking about, Oak Grove, just to give us a reference point?
The new bills,
Up,
Oh.
and again, I understand that the city may not be able to give us a waiver, but then we're hoping for some other offset that we can get.
Sure. All right, well, good, thank you for coming in, expressing your needs, again. Talk about that as well.
quick question, just bringing the expansion thing, kind of talk ahead here too. So is it something that you don't currently have printers throughout the whole building? So
Right.
you have to kind of bring it code
Yes,
with the,
that's where the expense comes in, is, you know, it's a tremendous amount of work to go into that existing building and, you know, tear everything down and redo it. And that would take a tremendous amount of revenue from us, because we would have to shut down for a period of time to do that.
this one? You're right.
I'd be interested in talking through the work session. Does the building have to be attached to the other buildings? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, to make it function, it would have to.
Right, it would be expanding our bar social club area.
Okay. That would be my suggestion, is to make a small building on the side where it's not attached to the building. I'm just thinking outside the box as far as square footage on the space, but small enough to not have to put
But
sprinklers.
see, that would interfere with trying to cook and provide meals to the people out in the other building, and, you know, people we would have to hire to handle that would make it, you know, another situation which just costs too much.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss it in a session. I really do appreciate how you do it. It doesn't go in, so we'll bring it to a work session. Sorry, stop.
Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure when to have this work session particularly, but we'll probably be in contact. With that, we don't have any. So we'll move on to new business. Or actually, one thing we didn't do, Motion to continue item G. I screwed that up. We have a motion to continue item G, or should I make that motion myself since I screwed it up? I'll make that. Second by Anthony, all in favor? Apologize for that. Moving on to new business, Minnesota Game and Fish Club, CUP amendment, ordinance amendment. First reading.
Mr. Mayor. Mayor and Council, before you tonight, 7 requests that are related to the Minnetonka Game and Fish Club. These requests include a CUP amendment as well as a zoning code amendment. We'll talk through both of those here. So the club actually got its original CUP way back in 1969, and it has been operational ever since. We have gone through several different amendments to that conditional use permit. I think the last one was 2009, but there have been several kind of iterations as things have changed on the site. The club itself is located across from the Norfolk Grumman site on the west side of the city. It's about 130 acres. 2040 comprehensive plan guides this site for park and open space. So the gun club as an outdoor recreational use is an appropriate use for that site. The site itself is zoned A2, which is the rural estate agriculture zoning district. And gun clubs are listed as a conditional use in that A2. So that's where you get that conditional use permit. So the applicant is requesting to reopen and amend the existing CUP to reflect some changes that are proposed to the site. So in the near term, the Game and Fish Club is proposing to increase the number of shooting bays from 4 to 6, regrade and improve the existing access drive, add a parking area, and then install 2 small accessory structures. In the long term, the club has identified 2 different locations on the south end of the site, which could be used for future buildings. So they would like to include those sites as potential future buildings as part of this CUP amendment, so that when they're ready to build those buildings, it's just an administrative site plan review versus having to reopen that CUP in the future. So just a little bit more information about kind of the proposed changes. So there are 4 shooting bays that exist today in the club's general purpose range. This is kind of on that southeastern side of the site. And the club is proposing to redesign and modify those existing bays, as well as so increase them to 6, and then add a second entrance leading to the west and that new parking area. There are again 2 small accessory structures that are proposed. Those are those yellow squares on the screen there, and those are really going to be for equipment storage to serve those new bays. The site is served by a fairly long gravel driveway that has access on the Hillandale. That drive right now is experiencing some issues with spring and head events, so it does tend to wash out. It's all operation have ceased as people can't get in or out. So the club is proposing to redesign the slopes of that road as well as add some pavers, and that would address that issue. So the location of the road itself as well as the gravel surface isn't changing. But we did provide this to Norfolk County since Hillandale is a county road, and they responded back that they did not have any comments for us. So again, there is a new parking area proposed between the access drive and the general purpose gun range, space for roughly 59 vehicles. That would also be gravel surface to match that structure. Because the amount of grading that is needed on site, this does trigger a requirement for some additional stormwater management. The applicant has provided the stormwater management to the city engineer for review. The city engineer has provided, so that's being reviewed. And then the zoning amendment piece of this has to deal with accessory structures. So currently, as the code is written, any accessory structures that are on gun club property are required to follow section 106803, which is the city's accessory structure section. And that has regulations for the number and size of those buildings per the size of the lot. So for lots that exceed 10 acres in size, which is all of the lots that are within that gun club site, you are allowed a total of 2,000 square feet of decent square footage and a maximum of 2 buildings. If you went out to that site, looked on an aerial, you can see that there are 24 accessory structures on that site today. And they range from pretty small, 55 square feet, all the way up to about 49. So obviously there are more structures on there than the code allows. And as far as I can tell, what's been happening is every time the CUP is opened up, those new structures are approved through the CUP process. So it's not that anyone's sneaking anything by, it's not that the city's missing it, it's that they are being approved in a process that is fine, but it's not something that the city code is technically allowing. So the amendment would be to add a standard into the gun club standards that allows the city to authorize additional accessory structure square footage through a CUP. So basically just allows everyone to do what we've been doing, but brings the code up to next. Planning Commission reviewed these requests in September at their meeting, held a public hearing. There wasn't any public comment provided at the time. And then after discussion, commissioners did unanimously recommend approval of both requests. So tonight, council is asked to review the requests and then take action. The draft approval documents were included in the packets. And suggested motions on the screen. It's on page 108. Happy to answer any questions, and the applicant's here as well.
Questions, Rob? I guess my biggest one that was glaring at me is parking spaces, and in our code, we have to have so many parking spaces for a business, that they meet that standard. And is it paved, is it not paved, is it going to be same substance as down below for parking? I've never been out there, but those are my two questions. So that's all I had.
So at Mayor and Council, we did take a look at the parking requirements, if this doesn't meet that. So it's in this one, and then as far as the pavement, I've been working with the city engineer on what makes sense here, and we feel that it is appropriate to allow that to continue just based on where that site is. The stormwater management piece of that is all taken into consideration with rates. And so we have written into the CUP draft approval documents, just a confirmation that that gravel is acceptable for the drive.
Fair?
I don't.
Kevin?
I have no additional questions.
I don't have any questions too. I believe our police do benefit from this property being there too, a lot of the training, but so those are all out there. Heard good things about it. I haven't been there yet either. I have further questions. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the ordinance amendment. First reading, 323, modifying section 106502, gun club in the zoning. Motion by Councilmember Preklo. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Bauer. That's a roll call. Aye.
Bauer,
Aye.
I
Motion carries. Now we will entertain a motion to approve resolution 2023-60, approving conditional use permit amendment for the Minnetonka Game Division. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilmember Robinson. Do we have a second? Second by Udvig. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. With that, we'll move on to item B. Go forward to the extension.
So for you tonight, we have a request to extend the period of compliance that is required in city code for someone who is experiencing a code enforcement violation on their property. Staff are allowed to do an administrative extension for up to 30 days, and any extensions greater than that require council approval. And due to the scale and the nature of how much cleanup is required on this property, then the homeowner has requested for additional time to address the code enforcement issues. And staff went out to the property on September 20th. They worked with the homeowner and created a plan to clean up the property and remove the illegal outdoor storage. and feel that the plan is reasonable, given the scale to be cleaned up, and the capacity that being a homeowner, you have to be able to address those issues. So the request before you tonight is for a extension to bring the property into compliance until June 26th of 2024 with, I believe it's 4 interim checkpoints, 5 total checkpoints. So for each one of those checkpoints, then it is understood between staff and the homeowner that the area to be reviewed at that checkpoint will be done at that time. If that is not cleaned up at that point in time, then the property would move back into being in violation, and a citation process could commence or an abatement process could commence at that point in time. And another understanding of this extension is that each checkpoint is cumulative too. So as you can see on page 130 of your packet, we have the checkpoints by each area of the yard. And so the front yard is to be cleaned up by early October. And then I believe it moves on to the porch. And if the front, if some of the items from the porch were to move into the front yard space or, you know, sort of move back through the checkpoints, then the property would be no longer moving towards compliance and would go back into being in violation. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Quick question I have is, do people or they haven't studied and tried cheaper?
Correct. Yep. So you have approved an extension on this property before, I believe it was in 2019. And it was regarding a similar issue with outdoor storage, but primarily centered around a accessory building. And since that the primary crux of that issue from that point in time has been the building is no longer on the property, but there is still significant amounts of outdoor storage. So it was clean for a period of time and now has been going into having more storage outside.
With that, we'll go to Sarah.
I guess. Staff anticipate that they're gonna meet these deadlines and okay with doing extension. I think if they don't, we have to. But some citations be worked for times notes, I think they know what's expected. So I'm okay with the extension. To get them done.
And I believe, I haven't spoken with the home very much, but I believe they are in attendance this evening. And so if you have any questions directly for the homeowner, then she is here as well.
I don't have any other questions other than, again, this isn't, I want to clarify, it's not any heavy-handed action by the city. It's, these things are done in conjunction with the homeowner. And basically to, you know, ensure the health and well-being of the homeowner as well as neighbors too. It's usually they feel, sometimes people feel they're being picked on, but it's the surrounding neighbors as well that also want, they value their health and well-being and their property values as well. So some things, you know, they can get out of control. I can see this might be one of those things, and I like the plan, the October dates. Some of the first steps here are okay by me. I appreciate work, the homeowner working at the city as well. Again, we mean no harm, but looking out for the community as a whole, not just picking on one individual. We haven't had, we've had things like this before, and have things like this again. We'll take care of them accordingly. So, but we appreciate your help. That's all I have.
Questions. I like the idea of the 5 checkpoints to kind of keep an eye on, and you know, and for the homeowners, I agree.
agree with the extension, but one thing I don't agree with is this isn't a problem that we didn't already address in 2019, and this stuff didn't go there last week. I'm just concerned that we're not going to be in compliance by June of next year with the pictures that I'm seeing. I'm okay with the extension, but this has got to be the last one for me.
Further, with that, I will entertain a motion to approve or.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion approved by Bauer, do you have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Robinson, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. With that, we have a second meeting open to the public. Do we have anybody else that would like to speak? No. All right. Moving on, I guess we have no staff reports this week, so we'll move on to council member reports. Start with Kevin.
Really have interviews for a council filling the position. Well, Chris to the board here. It's been relatively quiet and look forward to it's like we've been busy October ahead and nice to see some dirt in the city hall fire department site. That's all I have.
I don't have anything else to report as well. Well, Crystal to the city council board. We did do extensive interviews for that. And I do hope that the community comes out and, supports our city council because we're here to support you. So just get in contact with us if you want, anything done, let us know.
Sarah. Kristen, what are you gonna say?
Scott here. Excited to be a part of this council and I can't wait to see where we're going. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Mayor report, I guess I will congratulate Crystal, thank you. Also, we have interviews tomorrow, liquor store position, and we attending Bethel St. Francis Fire Department for third next day.
Mayor, would you like to set up a session for the end of November?
We can do that, I guess.
Region?
Yeah, let's do that.
So, with that, I would propose November 21st or 27th.
So 21st or 27th?
Correct. If either of those dates work.
I personally like the 21st, but I could probably look at both if it's right on the holiday there. And I'm gonna be out of town that week for so.
Can I ask, can we have anything sooner, Kate? October's pretty full. And I guess it's not a pressing issue, it's not a big deal, but it seems more.
October 30th. Are you available October 30th?
Yeah, the 30th.
So October 30th is an idea.
What do you guys think about moving it up? And
But it's hard. That's where I think I can assume them to work that way. I mean, here, get the information, so.
But I just don't, we're gonna have a lot of information of what the Legion desires, some bullet points.
So Mayor and Council, the contractor for the Legion has been in communication with community development and building, and that is what is spurring some of these concerns is the statutes and the codes around the state level. So what we could have is an initial conversation, in regards to some of their other requests or what they suggested. So
would be any other agenda items for that session, Kate?
we can look.
And what time would we work for everybody? Then is that like a 5, 5:30, 6?
I'm good at any.
Anything?
I could probably make 5:30 work.
5:30, October 30th. We will schedule a work session. Thank you.
I guess with that. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilmember Brudvig, do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Crutchlow, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Right time, 6. Either. Well.
The department.